Good evening. Today is September 3rd, and you're watching the Manila Times News Prime. Our top story: the Customs Bureau will run after other contractors allegedly involved in anomalous flood control projects. Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno says the raid on the property owned by Cezarah and Pacifico Discaya is just the beginning. He vows more operations will come. The Discayas have been linked to anomalous flood mitigation projects. Customs operatives armed with a search warrant seized a dozen luxury vehicles in the Discaya compound in Pasig City. The Bureau wants to find out if proper taxes and duties were paid for the vehicles. In related news, President Marcos orders a sweeping review of the DPWH proposed budget for 2026. He issued that directive to the Department of Budget and Management following his exposure of irregularities in the DPWH flood control projects. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro says this would ensure necessary changes and the proper use of the people's money. Still with the President Marcos is expected to campaign for a seat in the UN Security Council. Former Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo made the remark when he faced the Commission on Appointments. Manalo has been nominated as the Philippine Permanent Representative to the UN in New York. He says the Philippines has good chances of getting a seat in the Security Council for the term 2027 to 2028. The President is scheduled to attend the UN General Assembly this month. In other news, motorcycle-related deaths are rising at an alarming rate. That's according to the PNP Highway Patrol Group and the MMDA. They noted that in Metro Manila alone, motorcycles were involved in 76% of all fatal collisions last year. The Department of Health says an average of 2 motorcycle riders die every day. The National Coalition for Safe Philippines says this is no longer just a safety issue, but a national public health emergency. It expressed support for a government proposal for a national motorcycle safety and training program. The plan calls for tiered licensing, mandatory hands-on training with road simulations, expanded rider testing centers, and mobile spot check enforcement in high-risk areas. In news overseas, leaders of the 3 major anti-West countries put on a show of unity during a massive military parade in Beijing, China. Chinese President Xi Jinping, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and Russia's Vladimir Putin were seated together as they watched China's huge collection of military vehicles and heavy weapons. Kicking off the parade, President Xi warned China was unstoppable. There were no major Western dignitaries at the event. In reaction, U.S. President Donald Trump accused the 3 leaders of plotting against the United States. And in sports, our volleyball players are actively promoting the country's hosting of the FIVB Men's Volleyball World Championship. To raise public awareness of the major sporting event, the Alas Pilipinas men's team and several players from the Alas Pilipinas women's team ride an MRT train in Quezon City. The Philippines is hosting the international tournament from September 12 to 28. That's all for now on the Manila Times News Prime. For more news and information, read the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and be part of our communities on Viber, Telegram, WhatsApp, and Mastodon. Remember to stay safe, stay informed, and stay connected. I'm Michael Ang. Good night.